Hello and welcome to this training for Beep Sales members. Now that you are registered and have your own login at backoffice at BeepXtra.com, we'd like to give you some training to help maximise your potential. The majority of discussions between Beep members is about the building of their sales teams. The reason for this is because the Beep sales opportunity is so good, not only because of the enormous income potential, but because it's very easy to build, incredibly viral and free to join with no subscriptions. Before this presentation goes into more depth about building the sales team, it's appropriate to state that building the teams is entirely voluntary. If a Beep member wishes just to introduce shops and businesses, that's completely fine. If a Beep member wishes to introduce just one business, that's also fine. And that Beep member with just one store will be just as welcome within the Beep community as a member with a team spread over thousands of people across the world. The primary focus of Beep is on both the customers with the Beep cards and the shops where they are used. If both the shops and customers win, then everybody wins. To build the Beep business as a member will involve a different level of thinking than most people have been used to. Most people think in what is known as linear terms. This means they only focus on what they can do, not with a team. One of the most important skills a Beep member can develop is to have a clear picture in their mind of their expectation of Beep. It will help you to understand the Beep 90-day plan and help you beyond words when you believe you can do it. Then you need to focus on today's task and realise that the very small steps you take today are the most important because these steps are your foundation for explosive growth. We hope we don't have to explain that not everybody will be interested in Beep, and neither will every shop understand that Beep will be good for them. A key attribute of a successful Beep member will be good and strong level of emotional intelligence. The successful Beep member is a person who knows at the beginning that if they apply themselves professionally to Beep, then it will work for them as long as they learn how Beep works and then invite enough people and businesses. The first person you introduce and the first shop you introduce are the most important. It will help if you can imagine that when you phone your first prospect or speak to your first shop, that 1,000 of your future members are all looking at you. They will copy exactly what you do, good or bad. If you want perfect duplication and explosive growth, take a few minutes to think at the very early steps to picture how you want your future people to work and behave. It's a fact that large groups are mirrors of their leaders, which is no accident of nature. It's simply a function of duplication. This is why we say that Beep requires a different level of thinking than normal linear thinking. You know the first 5 people you will introduce, and you may half know their first introductions, but the explosion comes beyond that, and although they may not know you, they will all be copying your first steps. A Beep member with big dreams can often feel that it's below their dreams to actually go and help one shop get started or spend time with one new member. To turn the dreams into reality, the Beep member will have to learn perfectly how to start one person and one shop. Don't feel that you're going to be left behind by other members who tell you how much money they will earn, because 1, they have a huge list of contacts, or 2, they talk about a very large business owner they know, or 3, they talk about how many shops and business contacts they have. Beep is different from other opportunities because it can ignite in such a viral way that just a few good introductions can create financial freedom. When you send the first viral cartoon introduction that is to a person you know, you have no idea where that can lead. It is said that the world is connected by just a few introductions. The person who will build the biggest Beep business in your country may not be known to you. However, it's a mathematical certainty that someone you know in turn is connected through just a few cartoon invites to that person. A written list is always a good idea as it focuses the mind, but Beep is rare in that you could build it very successfully almost without a list of names. However, we'll later give you a few tips about how to build a good list. On this slide, we're going to explain the power of duplication. This principle has been used to explain the potential of referral businesses for decades. When we go through it now, think about the viral nature of Beep and the fact that it's free and you see its significance. So here is the example. Imagine you are in a position to offer a person one of 2 choices. Choice A is to receive $1 million today. Choice B is to receive 1 penny today and double the amount for 31 days. Most people will choose choice A, the $1 million today. So let's see which was the best choice. On the first table for the first 7 days, the penny doubling just grows from 1 cent to 64 cents, a quarter of a way through the 31 days, so it definitely looks like taking the million up front was the best choice. The second table takes us halfway through the month with a total of just $163. Even if we take it to the third table, which takes us to 4 days to go, the figure is 3 times less than the million up front at $335,000. However, the last table shows the true power of duplication. Just 2 days between day 26 and day 28, the penny doubling example goes from 3 times less to 30% more. And by day 31, the figure is $10 million. So the penny doubling choice B is actually worth 10 times more money. The purpose of showing you this is to teach you 3 things. 1. Even though you feel your goals are a long way off when you're working with one person and one shop, this work, if done properly, can be copied. When something is copied, it's doubled. Once it's doubled properly, it can be doubled again. And even though the results may not be immediately obvious, when the numbers reach a certain momentum, an explosion occurs. 2. It teaches the importance of doing the smallest task correctly. To achieve true viral growth is entirely about making sure the first 2 or 3 stages of team building are carried out 100% correctly. If a member doesn't get exact duplication after they know they have done their part correctly, then the answer is simple. Find someone else who will copy them. 3. It teaches the different type of thinking that's required to build Beep. The differences between linear thinking and team duplication thinking. Almost everybody comes into Beep thinking about how they can do it. To build like the penny doubling example or viral growth is not about what you can do, it's about what large numbers can do. It's not about having a list of 1,000 people, it's about teaching 5 people with dreams to do something properly. Many people around the world have already seen this type of example to illustrate the potential of team building. However, Beep is probably the best placed business to actually achieve these figures. Viral growth automatically creates a lot of new members with a lot of questions. Beep has an ingenious system built in to ensure that all teams have support. Shops and businesses have live chat support and a ticketed question service. The Beep website is designed to answer almost all questions. The only members who have direct access to the company are Global Sales Consultants, GSCs. 2.5% of commissionable sales is used to pay for support staff at Beep to work with the GSCs. Therefore, the sales team can't outgrow the company, and each member knows that they are directly represented to the company by their GSC. A new member has a lot of questions, and the website is designed to answer all, if not most of those. If a new member has a question, they ask their introducer. A smart introducer, as opposed to a lazy introducer, will by now have gone through the entire website and realised that most questions can be answered on the website. So the smart introducer will take the new member to the place on the site where the answer is. They don't dismissively say, the answer's on the website. They show them precisely where the answer is. This is very important leadership because it sends a powerful message to the new member, which is that you don't have to learn everything, you just have to learn where the answer is, which is very easy to copy. If you, as an introducer, sound like a walking Beep encyclopedia that can slow your business down as new members think they have to learn everything you know before they can earn a penny. If, however, the introducer does not know the answer and they can't locate the answer via the website, they ask their area sales manager, and the question is either answered here or escalated through each rank to the GSC. Here is the direct link to the company. This ingenious method is best seen working when the same question is asked by another member. The question now is not a new question, and it never passes the highest rank where it was previously answered. The sales team, with the website and the GSC support staff, ingeniously becomes a living encyclopedia to support new people. In this presentation, we're going to introduce you to the Beep 90-day plan. We recommend that when you're ready, you commit to this and write your 90-day start date down on your calendar and in your diary. Plus, we recommend that you call your team leader and inform them that you're going for the 90-day plan. This does 2 things. 1, it publicly makes you tell someone in your team that you are seriously going to build Beep. And 2, it alerts your team leaders that there is somebody who may need some support in achieving this goal. We have made building Beep incredibly simple, so don't try to overcomplicate the business. To build Beep to the highest level of Global Sales Consultant or GSC requires 5 good groups. So it makes perfect sense to get these 5 groups in place as soon as possible. Beep is so simple and fast that some people just pick up the phone and half an hour later they have their 5 leaders. However, building a list of names is always a good idea for Beep because it's a fact that the majority of the world knows or has met 5 ambitious people, and all of those people know somebody who runs a shop or business. When you start your list, remember, prejudging people who you think will or won't be interested can be a common mistake. Another tip is to write down everybody you know first, then, if you choose, you can be more selective later. To make this easier for you, we have set up a few reminders below. A good start is everybody in your mobile phone contacts, your Facebook friends list, school, college, university, courses, military service. If you're a parent, other parents you meet at school. Work, past and present. Friends, neighbours, people you met on holidays. Clubs and organisations you have joined. Family. If you need more reminders, then go to any phone book index where there are job categories listed there starting with jobs beginning with A. Who do you know who works in an abattoir? Accountants. By the time you get to Z, you'll have a big list. Once this task is complete, most lists will contain more names than you need, so now you can be selective. Write down your top 10 prospects in priority. Write down the most friendly prospect and call them first. Separate the people on your list who run a shop or business. Leave these people alone for 7 to 14 days until you've familiarised yourself with Beep, after which you'll be more knowledgeable and hence more effective. To help you prioritise, ask yourself, what do the people on your list know? How much do you have to teach them? What kind of people are they? Are they the kind of people who are looking for the problems all the time, or the kind of people who look for the opportunities first? Some people don't want to learn anything new and don't want to do anything they don't already know how to do. They probably won't build Beep, but remember, they still shop and spend money, so they should have a Beep card from you. Don't try to get them to build Beep because they will not be comfortable. Just remember that almost everybody shops, and giving a shopper a Beep card is doing them a great favour. You know your people better than we do. Those you are sure won't be interested probably won't. However, there's a well-known phrase called prejudging. Beep is full of successful people that somebody else introduced, and 10 other people were thinking of introducing them, but they didn't because they assumed they would not be interested. A person may appear to the world as happy, successful and satisfied, but behind closed doors at home, they're desperate for a chance to change their circumstances. So, if in doubt, ask them anyway. Do they have internet access? A large amount of this business is conducted online, and having the internet is definitely an advantage. A word of caution. To give you resolve is be prepared for rejection. It is the #1 reason new people don't make it past the first fence. 9 out of 10 people who stop building stop before their 5th number. But remember, you may be very close to your first yes, and also remember the people that reject you don't pay your bills. There are some basic principles for inviting people into Beep. It is always useful to remember what you're trying to achieve at each step. The stages and goals are: to check their email is the preferred one. To ensure the email has arrived. Let the prospect watch the cartoon on the email. Call the prospect back the same day, 20 minutes later preferably. To register the prospect. To activate the prospect's account. To have your new member watch all the videos. Get your new member started. Introduce your new member to your team leader RSM and/or above. At every stage, you have to believe you are doing the prospect a favour. It is vital to remember that if they say no, then you still have the business. People who stop building Beep stop before they have their 5th rejection. Rejection can be devastating to a new member's confidence. Try to think that when you start Beep, you have a magical bar of gold. When you give it away, it duplicates itself. You still have the gold bar, and so does the person you gave it to. The point to remember is that if they say no, you still have the gold bar called Beep. Another tip to remember is that all discussions have to be delivered with confidence. It's often the enthusiasm and belief in the way you sound that gets people interested, rather than what you say. Vitally important is the first phone call has to sound like you, not you reading from a script. So, as there is potential here for you to never work again and become financially free, it makes sense to spend some time practicing your approach, even memorising it so that the words flow. Before you call your prospect, it's worth considering when you last spoke to this person. If it's somebody you speak to regularly, you can start talking about Beep almost straight away. If it's somebody you haven't spoken to for a while, then it may be appropriate to chat generally for a few minutes to catch up on each other's lives and circumstances. Also, to ensure that you are not catching your prospect at a bad time, it is common sense to ask them if this is a good time to speak. Let's call your prospect John. And whenever this period of initial talk is over, you can continue the conversation with the following. I'll tell you why I'm calling you, John. I'd like to email you a cartoon video explaining a free business which I think is brilliant. It's called Beep. I didn't want to just blindly email it, hoping you'd watch it sometime because the email invitation only lasts 12 hours. So I'm calling to check the email I have for you is the right one and that you can look at the 5-minute video now or some other time. Now read out John's email, johnsmith@gmail.com. Is this the one you use the most? Now ask, can you look at it in the next 12 hours? If John says he can't, arrange to send it when he can, but always call to check first before sending. This type of professional behaviour will tell your prospects that this is important to you and increase the chances of them taking a serious look at Beep. If John can look at it now or later that day, say, "Great, John, I'll give you a call at 20 to 30 minutes after he says he can look at it. Then I'll try to answer any questions you have." The reason we recommend you say try to answer any questions is because you don't have to have all the answers to every question before you start. Beep is a team business and you can start building and be taught at the same time. Before you hang up, you can also say, "In fact, John, if you don't mind waiting a minute on the phone, I'll send it now if you're online and in front of your PC. It'd be good to know it's arrived." Also, John, it doesn't come from me. It will say, "Do not reply at BeepXtra.com," so you might not recognise it straight away, or your system might send it to spam or junk mail, so I'd be happier to know that you've seen it arrive. If John asks you to try to explain Beep now, say, "John, I'm pretty new to this and everything is taught on videos like the one I want to send to make sure the message is sent out properly, so I prefer at this stage to let the video explain rather than me mess it up and put you off Beep." Now leave your prospect to view the cartoon video which is linked to your invitation. It's very important to make sure you have a time arranged to call them back. This is called the follow-up. Don't leave it for days on end or the prospect will forget what they saw. Also, the invitation will expire in 12 hours and will need to be reset. If you leave it for longer than 3 days, the email is released from being linked to you and your prospect could start with someone else. It's much better to arrange a time to call them back. Beep doesn't give you 5 chances and that's the end. Once your 5 have accepted, you get another 5 invitations. The reason Beep does this is to focus you on your first 5. The spirit of Beep is to help people and businesses, not to mass introduce with little or no care for who succeeds. The business of Beep is also realistic, and statistics show that 20%, 1 in 5 of people introduced, actually create some real activity. That is human nature. You may be fortunate and introduce the first 5 who all stand up and run at the Beep 90-day plan, or you may have to introduce 25 to find your 5 serious people who commit to the 90-day plan. If you follow this 90-day plan, you will quickly see who is serious and who is not serious yet. The first test is the response to your phone call when you follow your prospect up. Their attitude now will tell you if they're looking or not. Somebody who is open to an opportunity will nearly always find the time to take a look at a 5-minute cartoon video. To repeat what we said earlier, it's important to arrange to call your prospect back after they viewed the first video. There's an important psychology here. If you call them 15 minutes later without arranging it, they could feel pushed. However, if you arrange a time to call them 10 or 20 minutes after sending the invite, that's fine as the prospect is expecting your call. When you call them, there's no particular sales skill sets required, as Beep is so straightforward. All you need to do is either 1. Ask them what they thought of the cartoon video. 2. Ask them to view the next video, which is what is Beep all about. This you can do by taking your prospect to BeepXtra.com and clicking the Videos button. 3. Ask them to register as it's free. It's truly everything to gain, nothing to lose. If any prospect is hesitant, remind them that Beep, unlike many other businesses, carries no risk. So, to refresh, you can ask them what they thought and/or ask them to view the other videos and/or ask them if they want to register for free. There is no order, just let common sense guide you. Most people will tell you one way or another if they're interested right there and then. Remember, even if they say it isn't for them, they can still register with you and get a Beep card and save money whenever they spend in a Beep store. Now you have registered your first invitation, say to yourself 1 down, 4 to go, and start the process again. Staying in touch with your first 5 prospects in this first 12 to 48 hours is vitally important, and it creates your momentum. This we will go into in more depth later with the Beep 90-day plan. We are all either richer or poorer than the next person in terms of wealth and possessions. It's a fact. And it's also a fact that either consciously or unconsciously, people use this as a measure of success and credibility. When a tramp tells us of a business scheme, most people don't listen. But if somebody who we know, who also happens to drive a Ferrari, lives in a £1 million house and a track record of business success, tells us of their new idea, we are all ears. So, psychologically, in this business, we are more confident talking to people we know are doing less well than us, and conversely, less confident talking to people who are doing better than us. The tendency in this business is to constantly sponsor down, and then the next distributor sponsors down, and before long the business stops with people who can't fight their way out of a wet paper bag. It's always a good move to attempt to sponsor up, and the next slide will give you some guidelines towards this. Successful people in this business have always tried to sponsor up, as it's here you often, but not always, tap into the world's most ambitious people. However, sometimes we have to be a bit smart about our approach, especially if we know our prospect is definitely going to look down on us, so we have the script below to help in these cases. Hi John, it's your name. Small talk for appropriate time depending on how long ago you last spoke to them. John, I need your help to check something out for me, if you don't mind. I've taken a look at a video and, as I respect your opinion, I'd like you to tell me what your view is so I can make a better informed decision. So when do you think you can check it out for me? After they have watched the video, follow up in the same way as described earlier. But here you have worked really smart to get your above peer group prospect to look at the business. Now, as always, the choice is theirs. The above techniques are a perfect way to build the business and keep your costs to a minimum. You can build your business with people all over the world. But remember, don't introduce more people than you can manage to follow up in order to achieve duplication. After a while, you will see that it's easy to introduce new people, but you have a job to do with these people in order to get them started to achieve duplication. It's a bit like being a parent. You have to bring your new people to a stage where they can stand on their own 2 feet without you. Just let the website and the Beep videos do the work. The more you say outside the presentation videos on the site, the harder your job seems to be. The more facts and knowledge you give, the more difficult it will be to copy your performance. It's important to use the same system and pattern so that everyone can easily learn it. Remember that the training of your new members starts from the time when you send them the email video invitation, so do exactly as you want them to do later. Everybody will try to introduce others in the same way as they have been introduced, so stick to the concept. Let the website and the videos do the work, even if you think that you can do it better. The most important part here is to show them the system and how Beep works. This business consists of doing things right in successive generations until each of your 5 groups continues growing on its own. You are always looking for people who want to join the team as leaders. Work closely with these people when you find them. Once you have your first 5 registered, this is perhaps your most important period. Now you should focus on these 5 people as if nothing else in the world mattered to you. It's a mistake to leave them alone, to grow alone. Your focus for the first week is to ensure that your 5 start sending out their first 5 invitations. You should bring them to this Beep 90-day plan and start to teach them how to call and how to follow up either side of sending out the invitations. It is so important because here is the secret to viral growth. Beep is free, so there's very little resistance. Beep has the cartoon videos that explain everything for you. However, the viral nature needs you to put in the vital spark by first starting with your 5 and secondly ensuring your 5 copy you perfectly. You don't need to be a psychologist to see who in your 5 is excited and who isn't. This is the time to take your first assessment at whether you have your 5 key leaders in place. Viral growth comes when your 5 introduce 5. Therefore, viral growth starts when your 5 becomes 25. Now comes the second most important stage in your Beep 90-day plan. It's important that you stay in touch with your 5 leaders to ensure that they are copying the growth. Your task now is to ensure that your leaders who have their first 5 prospects registered into Beep grow to 25 in the same way as you did. This increases your team to 125. If you have taught this Beep 90-day plan properly at the very beginning to your first 5 leaders, 25 becomes 125, and that grows to 625 team members in the first 30 days. The Beep 90-day plan allows you to fall short with the first growth phase because there are people involved with their lives to live and thousands of different sets of circumstances. So although this is achievable in 30 days, the Beep 90-day plan allows the first 60 days to put the team of 625 into place. If you are thinking 625 people sounds like a lot, this is your first reminder of the difference between linear thinking and duplication thinking. The 625 people are people you don't know. Your focus is on the first 5 and helping them find their 5, thus creating 25. The team of 625 is just a mathematical function of your 5 copying what you started 3 more times. The exciting thing is, you can fail as many times as you like, but you only have to get it right once. Now we move on to the shop and business part of the Beep 90-day plan. You will have no doubt noticed that until now, we've not mentioned bringing into Beep the shops and businesses that are the key to the results. The reason for this is that you and your new people are well advised to just learn and introduce others to Beep for the first 7 days. In the first week, leave the shops and businesses out of your programme. Give yourself and your team just a short time. We recommend between 7 and 14 days of acclimatisation to the Beep business. Once you have familiarised yourself with Beep, then you're in a much better position to approach a shop or business. Here we'd like to highlight another important recommendation regarding the spirit of how Beep is intended to be built. Although Beep does not forbid members going into shops looking to introduce the business directly, it is not in the spirit of Beep to do so. Instead, ask yourself how many businesses can you walk into or speak to where you'd be immediately recognised. The benefits are obvious. It's human nature to listen more intently to someone you know than to a complete stranger. We want Beep to be received by as many shops and businesses around the world as possible. To give everybody an advantage, the first shops you should approach are those where the resistance level is low because they know you. A business owner is always being approached for something and may dismiss the opportunity from a stranger. To invite a shop is very similar to inviting a person. The most noticeable difference is you send them a store invitation instead of a member invitation. Store invitations last for 72 hours instead of the 12 hours for members. This is to give the business owner more time to think, as it directly affects what they do for a living. It's also important to remember that when a store joins Beep for free, they get exactly the same status as a member. They can introduce people or business owners in exactly the same way as members. The script process can be slightly modified to the following. We will call your shop owner Sue. As she runs a business, and especially if you call during opening hours, it's even more important to ensure that you are not calling your prospect at a bad time. It's common sense to ask them if this is a good time to speak. Whenever the period of initial talk is over, you can continue the conversation with the following. I'll tell you why I'm calling you, Sue. I saw a business recently that made me think, who do I know that runs a business and would like to see this, and I thought of you. However, I didn't call you straight away as I first wanted to study it for a while to make sure I still thought it would be good for you. So now I'd like to email you a cartoon video explaining a free business which I think is brilliant. It's called Beep. I didn't want to just blindly email it, hoping you'd watch it sometime, because the email invitation only lasts 72 hours. So I'm calling to check the email I have for you is the right one, and that you can look at the 5-minute video now or some other time. Now read out Sue's email, suejones@yahoo.com. Is this the one you use the most? Now ask, can you look at it in the next 12 hours? Although the business owner has 72 hours to view the invitation, it is still important to follow up sooner rather than later so that you can follow up correctly. Again, if the business owner asks what it's all about, you can say, Sue, I'm pretty new to this and everything is taught on videos like the one I want to send to make sure the message is sent out properly, so I prefer to let the video explain rather than me mess it up and put you off Beep. The follow-up should be on time when arranged and can open with the same question. Hi Sue, did you watch the video? What do you think? Most people will tell you one way or another if they're interested right there and then. With a business owner, always try to get them to watch all 3 cartoon-style videos, plus the business media presentation, and the Beep Business Advantages and Getting Started video. All these videos are available on the main website BeepXtra.com, but make sure your business owner has had the email invitation first before you send them to the homepage in case they register here by mistake. Give your business owner prospect the best chance of making a good decision by giving them as much information as possible, but let the Beep website provide that information. This gives a coordinated and consistent message, which is not only good for your professionalism, it's easier to duplicate than trying to make it all up yourself. You can remind store owners that there is no risk working with Beep. Registering your business owner is simple and straightforward. Once they have registered, they now need to go to the Beep Business Advantages and Getting Started video as the first step of choosing which Beep system will suit their business. After this, they need to go to the Wizard questionnaire on Beep stores, which will guide them to a recommended choice. One of the biggest mistakes a member can make is to assume a shop will pick up the Beep system and put it to work without any Beep sales member support. This may happen if the business owner has plenty of time to study Beep and its system, but the spirit of Beep is to support the business owner. The Beep system does not require any member to become an IT expert. It does, however, require a basic understanding. An EPOS system means electronic point of sale, or simplified, the cash register of a shop. It is very easy to get lost in jargon, which will put a potentially good sales member or even a good store owner off Beep. So a good tip is every time you hear the phrase EPOS, just think of it as a cash register. An EPOS system mostly is a cash drawer, a printer for receipts, a credit card terminal, a handheld scanner, and usually a touchscreen monitor. Quite often this set comes with a keyboard also. If this all looks very familiar with your home PC system, it's because it is very similar. The first choice of system is to have the complete EPOS system from Beep for free. The EPOS is free. All Beep asks for is the integration fee. If the business is new, the best choice is to have the free Beep EPOS. Beep can also supply the business with the necessary hardware, such as cash drawer, printer and touchscreen monitor to suit their business needs and budget. Quite often, the existing business owner has an agreement with their EPOS provider. So, even if they love the Beep EPOS, they couldn't have it without paying a penalty to break the existing contract. Also, many stores rent their EPOS system from a provider. Whether renting or with an agreement, Beep can contact the EPOS provider on behalf of the shop. Beep will ask the EPOS provider if they would consider integrating with a Beep discount system. Beep offers a cloud-based discount card loyalty system first and foremost. It offers an EPOS system just to make things easier for the shops. Beep has no specific wish to compete with EPOS providers. There is no need to compete with the EPOS provider if they wish to work with Beep. All that happens is that the Beep integrators talk to the EPOS IT team so that the two systems can work together. Quite often all the store owner does is introduce Beep to the EPOS provider. The business owner in this example just pays the integration fee. For various reasons, the shop can decide to keep their EPOS separate from Beep and alternatively use one of the Beep tablets. The tablets are ready for immediate use, just plug it in and go. If this is the desired choice, the business owner purchases the tablet from Beep and the integration fee is built into the cost of the tablet. The main difference between the Beep tablets and the Beep EPOS is that after the business owner has set the discount, it applies to the whole purchase. They can always change the amount of discount at any time, but it still applies to the whole purchase. The EPOS, however, has the functionality to be able to apply a different and individual discount to each product. That's it, 3 choices. 1. The complete Beep EPOS. 2. Integrate the existing EPOS with the Beep system. 3. Leave the existing EPOS alone and buy a Beep tablet. Once a member has guided a store owner to a decision, then it's highly recommended for each Beep member or at least one of their leaders to assist the business owner on their first few hours of using the Beep system. Regular follow-ups are also highly recommended. There is a huge amount of common sense involved in this teaching, as the businesses are the core of Beep and should be completely supported. So now let's apply the shops to the Beep 90-day plan with a team of 625 members in place. If everybody introduces 10 shops each, the figures are incredible. But if we make a low assumption that only 20% of your members introduce 10 shops, that still leaves you with 125 members achieving this. To show you how much can be achieved, 125 members with 10 shops is 1,250 shops. Let's assume that each shop gives out 500 Beep cards to their clients. And also assume that you earn 30 cents a month from each card on average. The income from your Beep 90-day plan is $187,500 a month. So whatever way you look at it, the Beep 90-day plan can change the lives of members for free. If you really want to build a great Beep business for yourself, you should arrange to have a focused burst of activity for 90 days. When you are ready, write it on your calendar and or diary with a start date and the date in 90 days. Declare to your team leader that you have started this day on your Beep 90-day plan. Make sure that this is communicated to your global sales consultant. Make another conscious decision to give Beep your best game. Some people call this your A game for 90 days. It's often said that it takes 90 days to make or break a habit. Make the next 90 days your journey into living with Beep as a habit of your daily life. With a focused burst of Beep activity, you can have record-breaking growth, record-breaking sales, and a record-breaking income. The very next 90 days can change your life, and in 90 days you can be financially free, not just 90 days older. Thanks for listening.